Now, Gen Zs are eco-conscious, making sustainability key in their shopping decisions. According to Michael Zahariev, co-founder of Luxity, luxury resale therefore resonates with this segment of the market. In the meantime, the global pre-owned apparel market is growing 3 times faster than traditional retail. Michael joins us with more detail on this trend. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. Well, firstly, just shed some light for us on the environmental impact of the luxury fashion industry.
Well, I think consumers are becoming quite adept to knowing that the fashion industry, by many regards, is seen as the second most costly industry when it comes to environmental factors. And that's not only in terms of what goes into the production of the materials, with many of the fast fashion items these days being made of toxins and plastics and so on, but also because of the transport of these items across the globe in order to meet the global demand for fashion.
Right. Well, is sustainability really the main thing that is attracting Gen Zs to pre-owned luxury, or maybe just that they're less attracted to the price premium of new luxury products?
Well, what's quite interesting is if we break it down, at the end of the day, fashion has always been about style and your identity. And as more and more people are starting to understand the environmental costs of fast fashion and regular fashion, they really are not wanting to identify as that. You know, it's kind of like walking around in the modern day and age telling everyone you don't recycle. No one wants to do that. And therefore, many consumers are trying to identify more sustainably, and they're seeing that in order to do that, they can't just pretend any longer. They need to make more sustainable choices. And using pre-owned and pre-owned luxury, they're able to do that while remaining fashionable.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mentioned, in my intro about the growth of the pre-owned apparel market compared to traditional retail, and that's quite significant. How far has this shift permeated to the South African luxury fashion industry?
Well, it's definitely permeating fast. I mean, pre-owned has been one of the fastest growing sectors of fashion. Projections are that it will reach 350 billion by 2028. And when we compare that, fast fashion is currently at $197 billion. So, you know, it's going to be far outpacing fast fashion, and it's expected to grow 3 times faster than traditional retail. Now, what's quite interesting in South Africa is just 5 years ago, you know, people were coming into our stores at Luxity to buy pre-owned. You know, very often, even when selling to us, they were saying, you know, how is it secretive? Don't let anyone know, you know, don't post about me on your social media. Looking back to today, it's become almost like a brag. We have social media influencers, celebrities like Faith Nketsi. They're bragging about this on their social media, saying, look at what I was able to find pre-owned. Look at this great find. So it's really starting to become a trend, which is not something that was embarrassing just 5 years ago, but something that's a benefit, not only from a sustainability point of view, but from a fashion and lifestyle choice point of view.
It's quite interesting also that you talk about social media and the influence of influencers. And I just really want to zoom into, you know, is marketing really also what's really driving, this boost in the pre-owned luxury fashion market? But also, is it a case of, you know, there's this kind of community that is found? Because right now you're talking about people not being ashamed to say that they bought or they sold pre-owned luxury. Is it also maybe just an identity within a community?
Well, you mentioned marketing. So I think the luxury brands are doing the marketing themselves. You know, everyone wants to have a luxury branded item. That's the idea. That's what they market around. They create that desire. What the pre-owned market's really doing is creating accessibility. So number one, we're creating accessibility through different kinds of levers like payment plans, allowing individuals to pay it over a couple months. That's not traditionally available in the luxury industry. E-commerce, allowing outlying areas to gain access to luxury brands, and as well as a greater range of styles. So, you know, you might not identify with what's currently, in style with the pre-owned luxury brands. You might identify with what was in style 5 years ago. So pre-owned is really giving people that ability. And I think you mentioned cost earlier when saying, why are people choosing this? And what a lot of people are also starting to realize is that your cost per use, which is if you take what it costs you divided by the number of times you use it, is quite similar to that of fast fashion, because fast fashion you can only maybe use 3 times, whereas with a pre-owned luxury item you can purchase it, use it many more times than 3, and at the end, most importantly, sell it back. So what you get is what you paid for it, what you got back for it, divided by how many times you used it, and that number is often far less than for fast fashion. So what people are starting to realize is it's actually cheaper in a certain regard, if you do it properly, to buy pre-owned luxury than it is to do fast fashion.
So from an affordability point of view, would you say that there really isn't a significant limit in terms of the participation rate of the South African Gen Z consumer in this market?
So I think the initial investment is higher, but if you're quite savvy about it, which Gen Z and younger generations are obviously far more savvy than older generations, they look out for, how to use buy now, pay later, these kind of things. That's what the research shows. So if you're savvy about it, you can work out at much the same cost. And I think that's what people are starting to realize.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us insight into that market, Michael. That was Luxity co-founder Michael Zahariev.